What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Season 2, episode 33 of the Main Stand podcast. Myself and Josh are here and we came prepared. Pat needed to run off and grab a beer, so you're going to see him just whip into frame here shortly. But we had a pretty crazy weekend of games across the board. Some interesting UCL stuff to touch on, and a little bit of on the field stuff that I want to touch on at some point during the podcast. So we got a good one ahead of us. Pat's got his Modelo.
Oh, a can of
boys.
Modelo. You crazy man.
Modelo time.
A can over the Modelo bottle. What a choice. What a hot
We had a
take.
12-pack in the fridge, man. And Modelo's just always a good beer, okay?
It is a good beer. Boys, I want to start off. I have a public service announcement on Jude Bellingham, and I just need to talk. This is the most important topic in my life right now. Yesterday was just a tumultuous day for many reasons, but mainly in the morning, a bunch of reports came out. The Jean guy from Germany came out saying Liverpool had submitted a bid for $84 million for Jude Bellingham. Others corresponding with that information as well. And then about 3-4 hours later, every journalist on the face of the planet comes out with a report saying Liverpool have cooled off their interest in Bellingham and are looking for a more kind of robust midfield replacement, so getting 2, 3, 4 players instead of just him. So essentially we waited 2 years for a player knowing he was going to be expensive just to pull out because he was expensive.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, it just shows the shambles that is our recruiting department at the moment. I wonder what Klopp's thoughts on this are. I wonder what Jude's thoughts on this are, because I think Jude wants to come to Liverpool. I do. Deep down, I don't think he's going to Man City. I see Pat getting ready to chime in. It's very frustrating. I was ready for him to come. I think he was ready to come. And for this to be kind of pulled out from under us because of money and because we're so shit at the moment that the club feels like they need to buy 3 midfielders instead of 1. He's not like the golden goose, I guess, if you want to call it. We need like an entire overhaul. It's a disappointing standpoint from like where we're at as a club, where we're at in terms of long term, and it's just obviously a major setback because it's one we've been hyping up for a couple years now.
I mean, I've been trying to manifest this shit. I changed my Discord picture to Jude in a Liverpool kit like 6 months ago. I was trying to really get this thing going, but as the season's gone on and the more I've been able to kind of sit on it, Josh, he is a player that I've had my eyes on, but where we are as a club and our midfield, we do need an overhaul completely top to bottom. I don't think that's a surprise, but for an $84 million price tag, are we able to still solidify a player like that and 1 or 2 other assets for the future that just shore us up? Or is it going to be a few $35 to $40 million players instead of, kind of our target man who we thought was going to come in and shore us up?
Yeah.
I think he's going to look great in blue this summer, personally.
I'd be devastated if he went to Man City.
I'd be heartbroken.
Yeah, get ready to get devastated because he's coming to City, bud.
Especially after, the favor we just did you this weekend. And
I really do appreciate it. And, I said in the group chat, if he went to Liverpool, I wouldn't be too hurt about it. But he's going to look really good in blue. We'll take good care of him.
Yeah, it sucks. It just sucks. We
Not
can't land a big signing. I was kind of a tinfoil hat yesterday because I was seeing a lot of photos of people tweeting a very similar tweet from Paul Joyce about Alisson. Liverpool cooling off their interest and kind of stopping that. Happened with Van Dijk as well. This is a different situation just again because of the state of where we're at as a club. Be one thing to do a negotiation tactic. It'd be a different thing if we weren't shit at the moment. We are shit, and we know we need a midfield overhaul. So what they're saying makes sense. I don't think it's just a play for Dortmund to lower the price. Yeah, it sucks.
I'll put one other thing on the table that definitely is a possibility because Jude is so expensive. He could stay at Dortmund another year.
I know, and he's only 19. I've thought about that too, but damn. That just makes the stakes even higher for him, I think. And I don't know.
I could see him staying just as much as I could see him going. I really do think he has the world in his hands, and he can choose any team that's willing to pay what Dortmund values him at, or he can just choose to stay. I don't think Dortmund will have any issue with that one way or another, but they'll want to sell him while the selling is good, because if he has a slump or continues to play really well and just doesn't sign a new contract, then they will eventually need to sell him. But could wait another year and try again next summer if maybe teams aren't willing to pay for him or they need to address other areas. They might just have to accept the 84, or I think there's a lot of stuff swirling around Jude Bellingham, and he is going to be the next like big player, I think, to move. So it'll be interesting to see how his transfer saga plays out. But I do think if he goes anywhere this summer, I think he ends up at City. I think England is a no-brainer for him.
Madrid have money issues too.
Yeah. Again, like I said, England's a no-brainer. I think Bellingham is coming back to England. It's where he goes in England, and there's only a few clubs that can afford him, and then there's only 2 clubs that make sense for him, and City are both.
Yeah. He has an agent as well, and the agent is, I think, demanding pretty big fees. So on top of that and the wage structure he would be on, it's a significant package beyond just the transfer fee.
At the end of the day, it's early. We have nothing but time right now, and I'll be curious to see how it plays out. I'm not gonna count my chickens before they hatch. We're completely out of the race, but it's seeming so.
I love a good transfer saga, one way or the other. But so moving on to on the pitch, football. Champions League just concluded. Last matches of the week concluded like an hour ago as of time of recording. And do you guys want to talk about the Tuesday games, or do we want to talk about the recent games, the fresh games that just happened, and then talk about
Let's go chronological. Let's talk Tuesday.
Tuesday?
You can lead us off, buddy.
What?
You can lead us
off,
buddy.
Us off.
Yeah. I was right.
You were right. Saying. You were right. Pat was
right. We were going to beat Bayern, and what a goddamn performance that was. That's a statement victory for Man City in the UCL. I was super nervous going into the game, especially with our record against Tommy Tuchel back there, but statement victory. There wasn't a single City player that put a foot wrong for 90 minutes. I thought the back four was phenomenal. John Stones, man of the match in that hybrid center back defensive midfield role. Personally, Ruben Dias was the man of the match for me. A game-saving block early in the first half. Just an unbelievable performance. I think his injury kind of made people forget this season how good he is and how important he is to the City team. I think healthy and in this kind of form, there isn't a player better than him in the world at center back. I think he's the best center back in the world. And I think we're unbelievably lucky to have a player like him in our back four. And he's a future City captain too. Talks the talk, walks the walk. I don't know if you guys saw the little interview thing that happened with him in his pregame presser, but there was a journalist who basically said, all these Bayern have so much pace up front. How are you guys going to cope? And, Diaz said, we have a lot of names in our defense too, went on to list every single defender in the first team. And they said the reporter more or less said, so you back your pace against them. And Diaz said, you'll see. And the reporter was like, what do you mean? And he said, you'll see on the pitch. And he went and did it. Another thing, two funny things. One of them is a super ironic record. City have the longest unbeaten streak at home of any team in Champions League history as of yesterday.
Yeah.
And we still haven't won the goddamn thing, so that's just funny. And Haaland breaks the record for most goals in all competitions for a Premier League player, overtaking Salah with 44. Now he's at 45. Last thing I'm going to say on the game, and I really don't want to jinx it, but City are playing really well, and I think it's time to to stake my claim, little controversy. Could this be the year? Could this be the year they finally win the fucking Champions League? They finally break the curse. They finally duck it. Could this be the year they do it?
I think there was one imperative name that you left out in your analysis, and I thought Rodri showed up as well.
He always shows up. I don't have to mention his name.
Yeah,
but
this was different in my opinion. He played a really, really prolific role. He broke down that defensive line, especially for that first goal. What a fucking shitcocker. Is once every 6 months, I'm just going to hit it and see it go in.
He was due for a 30-yard screamer. He cashed it in.
And I think from the Bayern perspective, Upamecano was so trash. Jan Sommer, sometimes good, sometimes shit. He was a brick wall, and then he was a sieve for equal parts 50-50 of that game. City did a really good job of keeping the pressure up. And I will say, I think Bernardo was your weakest link on the day.
That's just wrong. Open your eyes.
Nope.
That's wrong.
Nope.
Goal and assist? That's wrong. Open your eyes. Open your eye. Most duels won, most chances created, goal, assist, open your eyes. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Nope. I'm keeping my angry I hate City pants on today.
Clip that.
Could have hated on anybody else. Could have hated on anybody else. Could have hated on the guy that actually had a great game.
That's tough.
I love seeing you seethe.
Also, Mane and Sane. We want to mention.
Yeah, apparently.
Yes.
Mane punched Sane in the face after the game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I believe it. I don't know if this is a Bayern press thing. Bayern are a big club capable of propaganda.
Yep.
They don't like Mane already, so it wouldn't be surprised if this was made up. I don't see Sadio Mane doing this, and I mentioned in the group chat, if Sadio Mane is a physical person, Mo Salah would have got the shit beaten out of him for a couple years ago.
We had seen the frustrated side come through a lot in the last couple of years at Liverpool. Mane getting visibly frustrated with Salah a lot. His last couple of years.
Punch somebody though?
Well, no, but we've seen him get angry at his teammates for doing what Sané did in that game, which was be very selfish. Granted, some of those he knew. He just knew that Ederson was shit with his hands. So he said, I'm going to let a couple of these fly. I remember training with the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he is known to break a jaw or two. I'm not totally surprised because, Mane is the type of player that he is very lethal and can get frustrated.
He's like the nicest human, though.
He is, but when it comes to on the field stuff, he is a killer. And when he is not involved and he sees something like that happen, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities. Reports are saying he got escorted home away from the team. So I don't know. This is an interesting story, especially going into the second leg.
I think you should have hit him harder. I hope he comes back to Liverpool. It's fabric. Bayern hands hate Mane. I mean, they think he is the most expensive player, I think, in their history in terms of salary. But every week they're just, ragging him off. So I hope he comes back to Liverpool somehow. That'd be cool.
I would actually like to see the opposite. I think Mane should stay. They should build around him because he's so much better than Sané. And Sané should just come back to where he's truly loved, where his wife and kids live, and come back to Manchester.
Yeah. The other game yesterday, Inter beating Benfica 2-0. This was maybe a shock one because I think all three of us were pretty underwhelmed with Inter in recent weeks.
Yeah, it was really surprising. Benfica were flat. They were really, really strangely flat at home. Penalty from Lukaku, and then it was Martinez that scored the first goal, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lukaku had the penalty. Benfica haven't lost many times all year, so to get beat 2-0 at home was a bit of a weird one, especially to, again, an Inter side that have been underwhelming all season.
So poor. I don't think they'd won a game in their last 6.
Yeah, they suck. We talked about both Milan teams not really being that good, and both of them proved us wrong.
Yeah, so we can move right into that one, Mitch, unless you've got something to say about Benfica Inter before we.
Nah, they were stinky. I thought Bastoni was lucky to not let Benfica get back into it right after assisting that first goal, but that's really it.
Yeah, I don't think this tie is over just with how poor Inter have been. I think it would be very it would make a lot of sense with sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a sec. It would make a lot of sense with how their season's been going to just get shit pumped 3-0 at home to this Benfica team in the second leg. So I wouldn't totally count Benfica out. I think that one has a lot of potential for a really crazy second leg, maybe.
Yep.
What will not be a crazy second leg is Chelsea Madrid. Mitch, I know, Josh, you didn't watch any of the games. Say, Mitch, did you watch much of this one?
No, I was out walking.
So,
being my best self.
I'll take the lead on this one then. So Chelsea looked good for like 6 minutes, give or take. First 6 minutes of the game, I was like, they look good. They might be able to do this thing. And then immediately was proven wrong. Benzema scores in the 21st minute. Could have scored earlier than that if he just squared it to Vinicius. The cracks were there. Chelsea's buildup was so confusing. There was like no player in the midfield linking up the defense to their forwards. They played like a really odd. They played a 5-3-2, but the 3 was very flat, and there was no progression. So like they would be playing little triangles like amongst themselves in their own half, with no progression to their forwards. Like, I think the plan was start Felix, start Sterling, play long balls, and then they only did that a couple of times. It worked for those 6 minutes, and then they just stopped doing it, and Madrid completely took over the game.
Really surprising that Lampard's plan was to hoof long balls.
Yeah, honestly, I'm like really surprised Lampard didn't come with a way more tactically sound decision to the Bernabeu. You know, he's just such a great manager. Top manager. Just you know, but nah. On all seriousness, it was just totally different class. Madrid on the night than Chelsea. Summed up with the Chelsea red card too in the second half. Just a really really bad challenge by Chilwell. Just like dumb. It was just like stupid and unnecessary. He gets sent off. Like 10 minutes later, Carvajal was pretty lucky not to see red, in my opinion. Vinicius showing that he's the best winger in the world. Benzema's Benzema. This tie feels pretty over. The only bright spot, I think, for Chelsea was Conte's back. He's fit, and they do look like a way better team with him in transition and with him, you know, helping out that defense, breaking up play. But it's just, I'm just so uninspired by them every time I see them do anything.
Speaking of Conte, I'm glad you brought him up. Bass dropped this little fact on my head, and I didn't fact check it. But he said that Conte's last 4 games for Chelsea have all been under different managers. And that is something that blew my mind today.
Yeah.
Like,
it's true. Imagine getting injured.
Wait, no, because wouldn't 4 different ones? Because
there's an interim coach.
Interim. His Premier League game against Liverpool was against the interim manager, or it was with the interim manager. So he had the interim Lampard, Tuchel, and
Potter.
Conte.
Potter. It was Tuchel. He got injured. Came back. Played under Potter.
Yeah.
Got injured. Came back. Yeah. Played under the interim manager. And then he just played under Lampard.
Damn. That's pretty wild. Shout out Bass for logistics.
That was fucking mind blowing to hear that.
Yeah, but that tie is done and dusted. If City get by Bayern, bring me Madrid. Bring me Madrid.
Bold words. I hear another 1K view video incoming.
Don't care. I want them. If we can't beat a team like that, we don't deserve to win the Champions League. I want them. Bring them.
You sound like a lot of Liverpool fans in the last 3 years that want Madrid until they don't want Madrid anymore. Because
you won the Champions League though. We need to beat teams like that if we want to win the Champions League. And we just shit pumped a team that at the start of the Champions League everyone said it was like a top 3. to win the competition, and we shit pumped them. I want Madrid. Bring me Madrid. I want to beat a team like that. If we beat Madrid, we're winning the fucking Champions League anyway. So bring me Madrid. I want them.
Yeah, I would agree with the second fact because the way the other side of the bracket's looking, we might have an all Milan semifinal. And Napoli, who are one of our dark horses, one of the guys that we said could make it to the final, have lost back-to-back games against Milan now.
This Napoli team feels like City in 2017.
Yeah, flying
in
until they're not.
The league, playing unbelievable ball, unplayable domestically. They have like a little hiccup against like AC Milan is their Liverpool.
Yeah.
That's just what it feels like. I think AC Milan have that mental edge now. They knocked them off. They knocked them off a little bit in Serie A. Yeah, they're going to win the league. They're so far away. They're going to win the league, but they knocked them off their perch bad in the league. Beat them in the first leg in Europe. I think AC Milan have the edge.
Did Osman play today?
Hmm?
Did Osman play today though?
I don't remember.
I don't think he did.
I had the side-by-side on, and I wasn't really paying attention to the lineups.
I got what you mean. If he didn't play, I mean, one goal isn't going to be impossible to overturn.
No.
But we'll see. I mean, especially going to the Estadio Armando Diego Maradona, or however the order of that is. It's one of the toughest places to play in Europe. So,
from what I saw, Napoli didn't play terrible. Really harsh red against Anguissa, which is going to hurt them in the second leg. I think Hernandez kind of played up the foul and kind of got the ref to change his mind and show red. But the concept of a Milan derby in the UCL semis is juicy. I am into that.
Sure.
I think that could be really fun.
Okay, that was Europe for you. We have Europa League and stuff, coming into the week. We'll cover that, I think, as it gets closer, more competitive at the end. But we'll wrap it back into the Premier League last weekend. And there's really just one thing to talk about, I think, guys, and that's, we kind of alluded to it earlier, but Liverpool helping out Man City, bringing the title race back. 6-point gap now. City have a game in hand and a game against Arsenal at the Etihad Stadium, so wide open. Let's talk about the Liverpool-Arsenal game because I think it was one of the Premier League games of the season. Arsenal go up 2 goals early. Liverpool really just looked like a shambles. The first 30 minutes was all Arsenal.
And then Xhaka pissed off Anfield. That stupid motherfucker. He pissed
Go
off
off, King. Go off, King. Yeah, Xhaka, what an idiot. What an idiot.
So
you can't do that at Anfield.
It's the one thing you don't do when you go to Anfield. They had taken the crowd out of the game. Josh, close your ears. I'm going to use a muted Twitter term. But it was a library. It was the Anfield Library. They silenced the hardest stadium to silence in fucking Europe, and then Xhaka pissed them off.
Yeah, they got through the hardest part of the game, too. It was obviously the game closest to Hillsborough, so you had that environment before the game. Like, just an electric atmosphere. If you get through the first 20 30 minutes, that's the hardest part. And Xhaka, this proves that none of the things he's doing, he's thinking about, or he is intelligent. This means he is just an idiot. And Trent Alexander-Arnold, what a lad, because, again, shit defensively, but he isn't afraid to back down from a challenge, gets right in Xhaka's face, we get the goal, and then it's game on. I mean, going into halftime with a goal, with that just energy, it woke the crowd up, turned it into a raucous atmosphere, and it was just, I knew Liverpool were going to win that game when the first goal went in.
You didn't win the game, though.
Okay, get a point, get a result. That's how much the crowd turned me, is I'm still thinking we won.
You did enough for me. That's what matters. Is you did enough for me.
It felt like a win.
The thing is it should have been 3 points. If Salah doesn't miss the pen, if Konate is able to hammer that kind of chest in, if Ramsdale doesn't make the save of the season on that Salah curler,
crazy.
Like the end of that game was fucking just pure gasoline. And credit to Ramsdale for saving at least a point for Arsenal in that. Liverpool should have won that game. And it was frustrating how it started. At hindsight 2020. But do you guys have anything else on this game? Because I have a little tangent I want to go on.
I do.
Yeah, go for it, Josh.
One, Trent Alexander-Arnold again. I said it already. Bad defensively. At the end of the game, that shows what he can do offensively. Absolutely putting one past Zinchenko, sending him for a hot dog, and then putting a cross in. I think it was Gabriel on the back post, a player who I have slandered continuously. So very happy to see Firmino. I mean, it had to be Bobby, right, against Arsenal. And Trent kind of played like an inverted fullback role. I think the whole game was a lot more closer to midfield than he was right back. And I think that was just like a little show reel of like what he could be next year. And then my other standout player was Ibu Konate. What a fucking defender he is. He had a couple tackles. He laid out Xhaka one time, and I was like, wow. I mean, that was like one of the harder tackles I've ever seen. That was just 100% clean foot on ball. That was
that sliding challenge at midfield, right? Yeah, I watched that back. I was like, that was clean as fuck. That was like Company-esque, the way he got the ball, but fucking floored him. It was a
cruncher.
And dude is like 23 years old. He is going to be an absolute world beater in a couple years. I mean, not that he isn't already there, but I think he'll get his flowers, and when he does, he's going to be one of the best defenders in the world. But Mitch, go off. I know what you're going to talk about. I'm not as heated as you are, so I'm excited to see your kind of take on it.
So I wouldn't call it necessarily heated. I think it just needs to be talked about because it's coming exactly a week after the Liga MX official. What's his name? Fucking Fernando. Yeah, Fernando Hernandez need a Leon player in the nuts on the second. And then right before or right after the halftime whistle, Robbo kind of runs over to the linesman, Konstantin Hatzidakis, and obviously fired up, obviously frustrated with what was going on, gets close, and Hatzidakis elbows him in the mouth. I think it was very clear what happened. I didn't see it live. I just caught Hendo getting escorted off the pitch by a constable and was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, clearly something big happened. I thought it was Xhaka. I thought it was just kind of aftermath of Xhaka being Xhaka. But after the game, seeing that video, it really frustrated me that there's clearly something going on at a deeper level. If we're going to try and protect the officials and not allow players to get in their 6-foot bubble or have only captains talk to officials, you know, I know Robbo gets the Scottish bastard fire in him and he likes to talk, but I don't think there is a single word or a hand on the back that could have warranted an official throwing an elbow at a player.
Yeah, I'm on your side here too, Mitch. I'm less. I don't know if something needs to be done. I think aside from him just being removed, it happened on a Paul Tierney crew, which is probably the least surprising thing ever.
As soon as I saw the officiating crew, I knew something was gonna fucking go down. He cannot keep control of big games. Period.
Yeah, he's gotten worse since he shaved his head too. That's something I've noticed.
You hate to see that, honestly. You hate to see bald make you bad.
We also, I agree with Mitch. We do a lot of talking about, you know, keeping the refs safe and valuing the refs. They've done enough shit things this year to, I think, get a little bit of stick.
2 in a week. I've never seen an official make a physical retaliation ever. And now we have it twice in a week.
They should be allowed to be like one sanctioned ref versus player fight a week.
Yeah,
it has to be agreed upon by both parties, and they can just fight.
You got to pick one official and one player.
Speaking of side tangent for the end of this talk, I think the players should also get to fight one fan a season, but that's for a different episode.
Yes, I've heard this. I've heard this circling, and I agree with this completely.
Yeah, no, it's just frustrating to see. Like at the end of the day, it's a game. The officials are there to protect the players and keep the game moving. And if you're not going to welcome a conversation about what's going on, um, and you're going to retaliate for a hand on the back, and it wasn't like I don't care if Robbo was 10 feet away, 5 feet away, a foot away. The motion that Andy Robertson makes in that clip of I mean, we have 7 different fucking camera angles of it. Like there is nothing that anybody can say that will make me think Robbo warranted an elbow to the mouth.
As much as I'm on Robbo's side, it was funny watching Roy Keane after the game. You big baby. Big baby.
That was funny.
Like
that, I could listen to that on repeat for hours. You big
it's just
baby.
ridiculous.
I do agree
ridiculous.
with everything you said there, Mitch. I think like ultimately that refs shouldn't have a job. It's a little wild that refs want to be this protected and then also like do things
Shit
like
like
that. It makes their case like I think a ref needs to control the game and control the players. And if you can't handle a player talking to you at halftime,
the whole organization needs sacking. We should just go out and get like all the people who officiated the World Cup.
Let's just get the drunkest fans possible.
No, let the main stand be the refereeing team for a Premier League game.
I wish there was a way to do like, you know how there's like a truck simulate, like farm simulator? I wish there was a VAR official simulator where it's There is?
Oh, it's not a game, but they're definitely looking at game scenarios in training. Like as officials, they're looking at that shit.
And I wish it was. I wish we could put that into a video game. So like it's like FIFA, but for refs, and I can watch a play and decide and have like a career based on my decisions.
Yeah, and if you
it's a great business idea.
Yeah, if you go sub 50% on correct decisions, you get canned.
You don't get picked for a couple weeks. You get the Mike Dean treatment.
I do like Pat's idea. Let us officiate games. I just call dibs on being fourth official because I can't run.
I want to be head ref.
Dude, and officiating video games is such a good idea. There's room in the market for it, I think.
We gotta get all the paperwork
our tech
submitted
team
first. We just put this on wax for everyone to hear. We can't let anybody steal this main stand idea.
If anybody out there is listening and you make this into a video game, I'm suing the fuck out of you. I'll find a way to do it.
Cease and desist, royalties, the whole 9 yards. That's the episode, I think.
Yeah, it's like a pretty dead Premier League weekend. There's not a ton to touch on, really, if anything. Arsenal need a win. City play a really shit Leicester. The bottom of the table is the bottom of the table. Southampton and Leicester are stuck there. Not really a whole lot to talk about. I think there'll be a little bit more once we kind of get to crunch time. That's really about it.
Jesse Marsch not going to Leicester.
True.
I don't know if we covered that. That seemed like a pretty done deal, and then he backs out last minute. So
good, get him out of that. I don't want Jesse Marsch to go to a fucking sinking ship.
Yeah, and they get blamed for the relegation. All right, boys. Productive 30 minutes.
Episode. Yeah, no, thanks for tuning in, everybody. That was episode 33. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Rate the podcast, share it to your story. I'll give you a big smooch, or I won't, whatever you want. Just please share it. Yeah, so that's about it. Be back next week.
Deuces.
Peace.